Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of your breakfast on Leadership Television Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo, your host on the program. Without wasting much time as it is, we'll move straight to the review of front headline stories on today's episode of the program, starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership's leading story says ECOWAS activates standby force against terrorism to tackle trans-border crimes. Defense chiefs meet after Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger exit. Pickers to the leading story on Leadership this Wednesday. ECOWAS activates standby force against terrorism. The story runs on page 4 of Leadership. By the side, we have IGP bans parade of suspects. Of course, this is in response to the editorial on a stand made by Leadership last week on the parade of suspects, and today IGP bans parade of suspects. The story is on page 7 of Leadership. 26 die of meningitis in Kebbi. Ukraine backs US proposal for 30-day ceasefire. Ukraine backs US proposal for 30-day ceasefire. PDP leaders behind kidnappings in Edo coming from the state government, as the story runs on page 4 of Leadership. And atop the masthead of Leadership, we have go and implement Supreme Court judgment. Tinubu tells Fubara. Of course, this is a fallout of the meeting in Villa yesterday between President Bola Tinubu, the Ijaw leaders, Pandev, and the governor, and even the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. As the father of the nation, Tinubu said, go and implement Supreme Court judgment. It is a Fubara. Crisis erupts in SDP 24 hours after El-Rufai's membership. This story is on page 60 of Leadership today. Don't forget to log in for more stories. However, let's move to page 3 of the paper for our stand. Today's stand is on the burden of rising ATM charges. The Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN decision to implement new automated teller machine ATM withdrawal charges effective March 1, 2025 has sparked widespread dissatisfaction among bank customers. Under the revised fee structure, customers are now required to pay 100 naira for every 20,000 naira withdrawal from on-site ATMs of other banks and a staggering 600 naira for off-site ATM transactions. Why the CBN justifies this move as necessary to cover rising operational costs and improve ATM efficiency, the policy has been met with fierce criticism from Nigerians already grappling with a harsh economic climate. These paragraphs on that stand today on Leadership, the burden of rising ATM charges. From that, we move to the back page where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Today she's writing on "And Still We Rise," celebrating women's resilience and strength on International Women's Day. March 8th, annually is International Women's Day. Of course, today's column with Olufunke Baruwa is celebrating women's resilience and strength on that all important day. And still we rise. In quote, it said, inspired by Maya Angelou's powerful poem Still I Rise, International Women's Day is a testament to the resilience, strength, and unwavering spirit of women everywhere. Quote from "And Still We Rise." Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Before we leave the page, let's go to Ghana Must Go. News today on Ghana Must Go: Court jails Enugu Psychiatric Hospital MD for contempt. And of course, Ghana Must Go replied, "You should have taken a mental test instead. That is a funny one. Don't forget to log into the website of Leadership for continuation of these stories. www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper we have on our menu this Wednesday, and that is The Punch. The Punch headline story is on killing spree of anger over headers, deadly attacks in Ondo, Benue, Nasarawa, 30 killed. Killing spree, anger over headers, deadly attacks in Ondo, Benue, Nasarawa, 30 killed. Ondo protesters raging attack government over killings. Benue local government secretariat palace raised. kickers to the leading story on the Punch newspaper this Wednesday. However, before we move on to the other stories we have on the cover of Punch, we have a video, of course. Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan has escalated the feud between her and the Senate President. To be recalled that earlier on March 5, she was suspended for 6 months for unethical conduct. Let's take a look at the video where Senator Natasha, was presenting her case at the UN forum.
Good afternoon, President of the IPU. Good afternoon, colleagues. I come with a heavy heart from Nigeria, but first I'd like to apologize to Honorable Kafila Ogbara. I am not here to bring shame to our country. I'm here to seek help for the women of Nigeria. Again, my name is Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan. 5 days ago, on the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I thought that by submitting the petition, he would recuse himself, and both of us will submit ourselves to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition for a fair and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, I was silenced and I was suspended. I was suspended for 6 months, amongst many other stringent conditions, such as taking away my security, taking away all the officials' vehicles and other items that were handed over to me as a senator. My salaries will be cut off. I must not appear anywhere near the National Assembly. And for 6 months, I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally. But I had no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women. Because this is a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation. My suspension is not just about me. It's about the systemic exclusion.
Yes, we just watched Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan speaking at the Women in Parliament session during the Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting at the United Nations in New York recently. She asserted that she was facing political victimization and intimidation for demanding an open and transparent investigation into her sexual harassment allegations against Akpabio. Moving from Natasha's story, we move on to other stories raising the cover of the Punch newspaper this Wednesday. And just like leadership's leading story, the Punch has ECOWAS defense chiefs activate standby force Wu, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, another leading story on the Punch this Wednesday. Marketers project 800 naira per litre as imported petrol cost drops. US-based Nigerian faces 52 years jail deportation for fraud. Federal government behind crisis in PDP orders El-Rufai alleges. That concludes review of front headline stories on the Punch newspaper this Wednesday. Don't forget to log into the website of the Punch for continuation of those headline stories. Even as we move to the next paper we have on our menu this Wednesday, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard also has similar story on the counsel for Fubara by President Bola Tinubu. It says Rivers counsel Fubara. Tinubu tells Niger Delta leaders, says he foresaw crisis festering for too long. Rivers political crisis, threats to national stability, deserves more attention. I'm committed to implementation of Supreme Court's judgment, says the governor Fubara. Angar's herdsmen bandits kill 42 in Benue, Nasarawa, Ondo is also a story that is leading on the Punch newspaper this Wednesday. Anger as herdsmen bandits kill 42 in Benue, Nasarawa, Ondo. The story continues on page 5 of Vanguard. Suspended Suspend hike in ATM transaction charges, reps tell CBN. Suspend hike in ATM transaction charges, reps tell CBN. Of course, that is also the stand today on leadership on that increase ATM charges. Meningitis kills 26 in 3 Kebbi local government areas, hit Sokoto. And in sports, 2026 World Cup qualifier race, Che drops Musa Iheanacho Okoye for Rwanda Zimbabwe. And that takes us to the story above the masthead of Vanguard. Wando selected as preferred bidder for Guarakara refinery in Trinidad and Tobago. The story is on page 19 of Vanguard. Even as we conclude review of front headline stories on Vanguard this Wednesday, we move over to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is THISDAY. THISDAY says Tinubu urges adherence to rule of law as Fubara to stoop to conquer. Tinubu urges adherence to rule of law as Fubara to stoop to conquer. Insists judiciary's interpretations of nation's constitution must be respected. Charges Pandef to intervene, counsel governor to pursue path of peace, stability. Fubara says implementing Supreme Court verdict not about me is for good of our state. Declares crisis has cost parties huge resources. Other judge seeks peace. Kickers to the leading story on the issues in Rivers State as Tinubu urges adherence to rule of law as Fubara to stoop to conquer. And still on THISDAY, federal government begins construction of second Niger bridge bypasses. Hope rises for truce as Ukraine agrees to US-led ceasefire. Above the masthead of THISDAY, Heineken Lopobiri, deregulation of downstream oil sector benefiting Nigerians, says NNPC set to compete with best in the world. Federal government reiterates no plan to end Naira for crude initiative. Owando confirms selection as preferred bidder for 175,000 barrel per day Trinidad and Tobago refinery. With that, we'll conclude review of front headline stories on THISDAY, this Wednesday. Don't forget to log into the website of THISDAY for continuation of these headline stories. Now we move to the next paper we have on our menu, which incidentally is the last paper for review on today's midweek show, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian says federal government may scale down concrete road projects, over 73% spike in cost. Federal government may scale down concrete road projects, over 73% spike in cost. Like in all other stories, The Guardian has illustrations beneath that leading story. Concrete pavement can reduce fuel consumption by 3 to 17%, resulting in significant cost savings and reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. This is just one of the illustrations beneath the leading story on The Guardian newspaper this Wednesday. Federal government may scale down concrete road projects, over 73% spike in cost. It should be recalled that the Works Minister Omahi did say that the federal government was embracing concrete road projects. However, the government is saying now that it may have to scale it down because of the spike in cost. Still on The Guardian, reps want new ATM charges suspended, pornographic websites banned. Edo government accuses PDP leaders of sponsoring insecurity. Fubara, amid impeachment threat, Tinubu charges Niger Delta leaders on peace, rule of law. Reps direct Nigerian army to release reports on Okwama killing. Nigerians oil production drops as country earns $3 billion in February. Wando expands Caribbean footprint with Guarakara refinery lease. Diphtheria outbreak, Lagos begins mass vaccination at King's College. And that brings to a close the review of front headline stories on The Guardian on this midweek edition of the show, March 12, 2025. For continuation of these headline stories on The Guardian today, don't forget to log into the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. Well, viewers, it's also on this note we bring to a close today's midweek show. Don't forget, we have news on the hour on this station. Don't forget to join us then. And for continuation and for new presentation of the program tomorrow, Thursday, don't forget to keep a date with us. My name is Winifred Weber. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Get ready for the Leadership Awards and Conference 2024. Join us as we celebrate excellence across various fields, honoring those who've made remarkable impacts. Award categories include Person of the Year, Quinquennial Award for Governance and Infrastructure, Governors of the Year, Business Person of the Year, and many more. Stay updated by following us on social media and visiting our website, leadership.ng. For sponsorship and inquiries, contact us today. Leadership Award and Conference 2024, celebrating excellence, inspiring the future.